right, for this project, everybody is getting a 1 pound ball of clay. The most important thing to remember is to not overwork your clay. If you overwork your clay and make a bunch of things with it and then try to roll it out, it's going to get dry and crack. So right away when you have your ball of clay, just start rolling it out into a slab. And using the templates, you're going to cut out the two shapes that we need to make our cup: a rectangle and a circle. Once you have the rectangle cut out, then set that one aside and gather up your slab scraps, ball them up, and re-roll them to create your base, which will be a circle. Any extra clay scraps that you have at this time, roll them up and put them in your bag instead of just setting them here like I have. And then we're going to use the slip and score method, where we are making little marks on every edge that we're going to attach together. So the top of your circle, the bottom of your base, and then you'll see that I am going to then put on some slip, which is just kind of watery clay, and we use it like glue. And when we create the score and the slip, that will adhere those two together. We're still going to need to smooth it out, but that is going to make that clay attach to each other. So I see that it's going to go on, and then I also want to slip and score the edge where the two walls will connect to create the cup. Now I can put it on my base and I can start kind of sealing that cup up. So I'm pinching those two pieces together, and you see that I am supporting the walls of the cup with my inside hand, with one hand on the inside of the cup. With those extra clay, I'm rolling out just a really thin snake or coil that I can attach to the bottom. The bottom is where we want to really make sure that we have a good seal so our cups don't leak and our base is strong. So I put a little bit of extra clay down here, and then I'm going to use that to kind of seal that seam between the base and the wall. So once I have that slip and scored on, then I'm smoothing out the clay. And here I'm working on the top now. So now we're going to work on the designs. So any designs that we're adding, this is called an additive method. If like right now we're making a face cup, I'm working on a couple eyeballs. Anything that we're adding, we have to use that slip and score method. So I'm figuring out where I'm going to put them. And then once I've got that marked off, I'm going to slip and score right onto that vessel. Some of that clay. If we don't have fettling knives for everybody, we'll have popsicle sticks. I'm going to figure out where my nose and my mouth are going next. So I've made a nose, slipping and scoring again. Anytime we're adding anything to the cup, we have to slip and score. It's the only way that things will not fall off. I just dipped my finger in it, that's all. So here's like an area that's cracking on my edge, And so I'm taking a little bit of my clay, I've kind of wet it down and I've scratched it with my fingertip, and I'm just adding some clay there to kind of build and reinforce that area where that crack was. So I still have some clay left over after adding some designs. So I'm going to go ahead and roll it out and create a handle. Handles are a little bit tricky, but if you are up for the challenge, you are more than welcome to try one. You just need to make sure that you're figuring out where it's going to go and how it'll attach, and again, slipping and scoring so that you get that handle on really, really nicely. Make sure you have room for your hand if you are going to put a handle on too. So I bend that handle around. You see that I do have some cracks there, but I'm going to just smooth those out as best as I can. I've used quite a bit of slip here. And then now I'm going to use just some newspaper or magazine to hold in place that handle because it's kind of sagging. So if I put this in place, it'll dry with that paper in place, and it'll hold that form. So one last time I'm going around and I'm really making sure that I'm smoothing everything out, that it's sealed really nicely. See, I'm not using too much water there. And now I'm gonna flatten up the top and carve my name into the bottom. This will make sure that I get my cup back. And please, please, please put your period number on there. There are going to be 187 cups going into the kiln, so I need to have your name clearly written and your period number. Whenever you are done for the day, but you're not completely done with your project, please keep all of your clay, your extra clay, and your project that you're working on in a sealed, really well sealed plastic bag with your name on it. You can keep that either in the clay room on a table, or you can keep that in your art locker. But be very careful so that we're not shoving anybody's or crushing anybody's artwork. If you have some extra clay still after your project is all completed, then you can go ahead and make another little thing. Just remember to use that slip and score method. When you're done with your entire project and it's ready to go in the kiln, then we're gonna put it in the ceramic room on your table designated for your period, and we need to leave it out of its bag. So it needs to air dry first for about a week or a couple days at least. Then it will go in the kiln, and then we'll get started on glazing.